Paul. When I say wild, you say berries. Wild.
Berries.
Woo! What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Happy Sunday. Welcome to a not so chill, but chill as much as we can on this Sunday. Welcome back, everyone, to the Call to Action Network on this Happy Sunday with me, your girl, Danielle, hanging out with my favorite co-host, Mr. Paul Denuzio.
It's me, it's PLD, and I prefer the quiet wild berries. That's my favorite one they ever did, when Drew McQueen and Drew Guy had to do the quietly under the breath kind of wild berries.
The mild berries. Do you remember the mild berries?
The mild berries.
That was a great run.
And then, of course, the other one, my favorite, was the Josh Macuga and Jen Sturger interview, where Jen Sturger almost basically lost her shit because she couldn't handle it at that point, because it was that funny.
Yeah. Oh my God. Anyone who can make Jen Sturger break, it is definitely got some skills.
Got some skills. That's true.
I guess. I mean, we can't. I feel like sometimes we try to pretend like people don't know who's coming on the show. At least that's what I do sometimes. But there's it's right there. Like, it's right there every single time we promote.
We have a banner. We have an advertising. We have like ads we play, and here we're like kind of like, who is it? Who is behind the curtain?
Who is it?
Almost all shows do that in a way. I feel like it's kind of like this thing. It's like a big like reveal. Like you even like put them backstage. Like it's like you don't really know if they're here or not. Are they here? Maybe they're not even here. Maybe it's just gonna be us the whole show. It could be.
It could.
You know that?
No.
You would want to have a whole show. We need to have somebody back and forth with, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, without further ado, why don't we just pull off the Band-Aid? Let's get it out there. Pull that curtain. Throw it back. Without further ado, the Wild Man himself. I'm excited. You're excited. Josh Macuga.
Oh, hey guys. Hey, what's up? How's everybody? Good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Welcome, Josh. We are super excited to have you here on this Sunday evening.
I'm a big fan of chill. I mean, you know, it's a Sunday. You gotta chill. My Steelers won, so my chill factor is, you know, it's back down.
Yeah.
You know, the Wild Berries rarely had chill, so it was like, you know, I feel like this is my happy medium here.
There you go.
The yin and yang. I get that. You need that. Everybody needs that time in their life when you can just chill. You can't be 100% all the time.
It's tough. It really is. If I was, I don't think I'd have a wife. I think she would have left early on in the dating scene. So, yeah.
I definitely can relate to that.
Well, Josh, thank you so much for coming in and hanging out. We always like to ask the same question for the first question whenever people come on, and that's why Schmodown. So we kind of know how you got involved a little bit, but whenever Mark and Christian came to you with this idea of doing movie trivia online in this format, Josh, tell us how that all went down.
Well, I will say this, and, you know, obviously Mark and Christian get all the credit for like the format, but when I first came on to Schmoes Know, the first thing I said to them is, you guys need a movie trivia segment on the show. You need to have movie trivia. We got to do more trivia. You can go back and watch an episode where I brought on like a Josh Birdie kind of a thing, and we did some movie trivia. I think Kathy Kelly was on the episode. It was in the Toad Hop days. And I told him, I was like, you guys need to do trivia. Absolutely. There needs to be a competition. It's got to be like a radio show kind of a thing. And then, you know, Christian, because he likes wrestling, took it to that, you know, whole nother level. Obviously, and it's, you know, skyrocketed from there. But you know, when they said they wanted to do trivia, I was 100% in. I mean, I wanted to do it from the very beginning. And so, and how they set it up and how it was, you know what I mean? I'm a competitor at heart. Everything is kind of just one big competition. But when they told me like how it was going to work and we're going to have entrances and we're going to wear costumes and stuff, I was like, yeah, sign me up. And then you're like, you're going to play Bonnie Somerville first. I was like, all right, well, you know, this is going to be fun. There's nothing like making fun of Bonnie because she is the ultimate character. It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
So, wow. So Mark and Christian are the creators. You're kind of like the mad uncle, so to speak, of the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and I will say this, when I brought in like the trivia game for the first time, Christian poo-pooed me. It was frustrating. He was just like, all right, that's enough of this. And we moved on. And then, you know, what, it's 8 years later, 7 years later, now it is, you know, the biggest thing. So,
well, he did famously say on SC at one point that he doesn't like anybody's idea. He likes to stick a dynamite up the ass of any idea, unless it's his. So he's got to make it his own idea, and all of a sudden now it's perfect, right?
Of course. Like any great genius, all the ideas are theirs, and, you know.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, without further ado, I think we should let's get it right on the table. You've been gone for a little while. I haven't met as much around, and all of a sudden here we are. COVID-19's hit, and here we are. You have a challenge gone forth from Elliot Dewberry, your Wildberry companion. Tell us what led up to this storyline, this part of it, and how you feel about it right now.
Yeah, I was really upset during that draft because I knew that they were going to split us up. You can't, when you're building a league, you can't have LeBron James and Michael Jordan on the same team, right? You can't have Babe Ruth and Ted Williams on the same team. You can't have Pete Sampras and Boris Becker. I'm going deep. You can't have Tiger Woods, okay, and Jack Nicklaus on the same. You can't keep putting these guys together. Eventually, the whole league will collapse under the Wildberry banner. I mean, it would have just become the Wildberry down, right? And we would have built an entire second league off just people screaming Wildberries. It was kind of inevitable. And then Shannon Barney, AKA Hocus Pocus, AKA the witch from Salem, AKA, she like Elliot said in that one video, she is terrifying. I remember watching that video. I was in New York shooting Eating History, and I laughed out loud. Like, I thought that was Elliot's best acting performance in the history of the Schmodown. Because she is terrifying. She is terrifying. On the Schmodown, when she's not, she's an absolutely sweetheart of a human being. She's amazing. But in the Schmodown, she is 100% terrifying. So when I got drafted, did I go first and then Elliot went? I forget.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when she drafted Elliot and they split up the Wildberries, I think there was, it was like when they blew up Alderaan, 1,000 people cried out in the night, or millions of voices all silenced at once. And then I had to go and basically shoot my show, and then COVID hit, and the whole faction thing and everything, I was basically torn asunder, and my teammate, my bud, all this kind of exploded in my face. It was like in Back to the Future 3 when Biff keeps falling into fucking horse manure. It's good.
Over and over and over again.
Over and over.
Well, Josh, have you had a chance to work with Winston to get ready for this match?
Listen, I don't need to work with anybody. Okay? The Wild Man is an island of movie trivia. Is all the knowledge on that island? No, absolutely not. Okay, but the island is a great place to be. And I don't listen. If I have to retire and I want to go live on Wild Man Island, that's what I'm going to do. But let's be honest. Do you think Elliot's going to beat me? I mean, let's throw it out there. We know Mark Ellis is going to pick Elliot. Okay, well, he never picks me, so it's fine. But if you guys were picking right now, I mean, listen, we both have our strengths. There are certain episodes where Elliot carries, and we both mesh so well. We're just good enough to get beat. Good enough to lose. So it hurts me to the soul that I do have to. It's like the Klitschko brothers, right? The mom never wanted them to fight in a ring. So one of them held a belt, the other one held a belt, and then they just retired with those belts. So we never saw the brothers fight. But sometimes, I mean, my brother and I fought all the time, just no punches in the face, right? So this is that thing. This is like two siblings. They got into a fight. Mom and dad got divorced. I went to live with my dad. He went to live with my mom. And then we met in college. It was like, oh, fucking Elliot. And then we got into a fight drunk outside of a bar. And here's where we are. One has to retire. The other one has to transfer colleges.
That's the deal.
Oh, this is the second time you've gotten broken up from a team in kind of a very angry fashion to a degree. I mean, you had Dagnito in the beginning. That was a big thing. And is this comparable to you in a way? Or how does that work for you?
Well, let's be honest, guys. Tom Dagnino, one of the greatest human beings around, like the nicest guy, the persona that he has been painted. Yeah, he's got his Gucci verse, and he's the king of weird one-liners and inappropriateness. He should have been canceled before cancel culture. You know what I mean? But he is one of the greatest human beings around. He and I get along so well. But when it comes to trivia, once every 10 matches, he's okay. Once every 10 matches, he's okay. As a teammate, I can't bank with that. It's like you just fielded a basketball team, right? And it's me, and I'm a 6'8" center, and the rest of the guys are like 5'2" little Italian women making gnocchis in the back. Okay? That's Tom's trivia ability. No offense. And so our team was absolutely terrible. We had to break up. Listen, do I love Tom? Would I love the Mega Powers to stay together? Sure, but not in trivia. Maybe
Right.
in like, building some sort of small business based around, terrible one-liners or a show with dolls that are murderous ex-football players. But I couldn't continue on with the team. I think with the Wildberries is that the league, aka the powers that be, just kind of gave up on the Wildberries when we could have been the team that every team had to play to get into the Schmodown. Like, if you can beat the Wildberries, you can play in the Schmodown. And the Wildberries would have been there all of the time, just screaming, teams are good enough to beat the Wildberries, you get in. If not, goodbye.
Right. The entry-level examination right there. I think that's a good
Correct. We're your freshman orientation.
Yeah, had that bar, just like throwing fireball shots to the opponents right there. You got to take a shot.
Right. Yep.
All of that good stuff.
Yeah. You can't play the Wildberries sober. That's a rule. And, listen, I force that on a lot of people at like 10 a.m. on a Saturday. That's their fault. You can't get the booze. That's your fault. Not mine.
That's true. Those are the rules. It's like the house rules. You
Correct. Yes.
Can't get that. Well, that's awesome too. Well, that's not the only place you have showed up in the Schmodown recently. You did appear in the rom-com match that dropped on Patreon this past week. Obviously, we won't discuss the outcome per se. I don't want to spoil that for people who haven't seen it yet or whatever. But I do want to touch base with the one thing that happened. Your let's say your interaction with one video Drew Grant. Tell me about how you
weird,
feel
huh?
her.
She is a character.
No,
I think she's a sweetheart, but she creeped me out, man. She threw me off my game. They got like all white face with the I don't know what was going on. Like, she had like some kind of like glass painted on her face. I don't know, man. Like, that's listen, I'm scared of everything. Okay. You want to get in my head, you scare me. And that's what Drew did. She knows the weakness. She played it well. I also didn't know some of the rom-coms that they put in there. Come on, guys. Just do How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and let's call it a friggin' even. Let's do it.
Just all questions about how to Matthew McConaughey questions, just the entire thing.
You're correct, Danny. Nailed it.
There's Will Smith in there maybe for Hitch, things like that. Maybe.
Thank you. Yeah, Paul. Hitch. Let's, you got your classics. You got your Hitch, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, The Proposal, 7 Days, 7 Nights, Failure to Launch. What else? 13 going on 30. An
The
amazing
Wedding
one.
Planner.
Oh, The Wedding
Monster
Planner. Thank
in
you
Law.
very much.
Made
Made in Manhattan. Like the golden years of rom-com from about 1993 to 2006.
Yeah.
Right? You have your 13 years of rom-com. And here's the thing is, Mark Riley swears by When Harry Met Sally. When Harry Met Sally is good. It's a classic. It is what it is. It's just a lot of talking. Like, it is a very talkative movie. Like, it's a stage play with Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan talking their way in and out of a relationship. It is exhausting. But the weird thing about When Harry Met Sally, it's very real life. I'm like, I've had these stupid conversations over and over, and now they made a movie about it.
Sean Sullivan in the chat saying, giving you a shout out for being a wonderful human being. We love Sean Sullivan on the show. And also 13 going on 30 is literally the best.
It is.
Really is.
It's amazing. I mean, the thriller scene alone gets that movie. Yes, thank you. Danny nailed it. And then McConaughey on the motorcycle at the end with a little anywhere you go, I'll follow you down. I mean, it is really that.
Ken's not digging your take on
Ken
it.
knows. Ken knows. Ken knows.
Oh my goodness. Well, speaking of Mr. Ken Notzak, hello, Mr. Ken. You have been doing a show with Ken the afternoons for quite some time now, and it's been really fun. The evolution of that show, getting Amanda on, especially when she had to leave for a little while. Tell us a little bit about the afternoons and how that concept kind of came up with you and Ken.
Well, I don't know if it really came up as it was kind of just like, hey, we got fired from Collider. Let's keep making content. So we did, Ken and I jumped on board, and like we always just got along so well. Weirdly enough, I mean, we always talk about how Ken didn't think that he would have ever been friends with me when we first met. Because we're two very different people, but now we're like the best of friends. He's my brother, and we thought like let's just do you and I talking. We were going to do segments. We tried segments at the beginning, and then the segments really didn't work. And then really what it is just like a long form improv. And then Amanda got involved, and she is the worst improv performer in the world.
I listened to the latest episode that you all had, and
yeah.
It's a good
And
one.
by her own admission, she's awful. Like she's like, I didn't want to be an improv performer, which is great. And then a lot of times now on the show, which is hilarious, is Ken has now become like a marriage counselor, which is also very funny. So now we have this, it's still the Ken and Josh doing stupid stuff with Amanda judging us, and then Ken answering the important marriage questions. It's this nice little weave of a 3-person podcast. Yeah, I think we're at like 120 episodes, maybe 100 and something. So yeah, we're it's great. I love it. I mean, the dream for that show would to be, like an afternoon drive radio show for, on AM somewhere, like nationally syndicated radio show with the 3 of us, just shooting the shit, giving you some news segments, trying to make people laugh as they're stuck in traffic.
I think it's a great show. It really is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You are about to transition into fatherhood now. Where are you in the fatherhood travels? I know, having been a father myself, there's like the freak out moments. There's a time when you're ready. There's a time when you're like, come on, let's get this over with. And there's a time where like it's getting really close. And like, oh shit, I don't know if I'm ready again. Go back. Where are you on that journey at this point?
You remember like when they would do potions class in Harry Potter? And they would like put all those things together, and then Hermione turned into a cat. I'm that.
You're the cat level.
Right? I feel like I'm doing all the good things, and then all of a sudden, like today, we went to look at strollers and car seats, and went to like the baby section of a Bed Bath and Beyond, and I was like, oh man, I am in over my head right now. So like, there are certain days when I was like, I can't wait to be a dad, and there's certain days where I'm like, holy moly, this is a lot. And then there's some days when I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna figure it out. My parents figure it out. We'll just wing it. Everybody tells me don't read the books, and then other people are like, you got to read the books. Other people are like, hey, I figured it out. If I can figure it out, you can figure it out. I mean, my brother's got 4 kids. He seems to be doing fine.
Yeah, just watch Knocked Up a few times, and then I think it'll get there.
Yeah. Listen, I just want my daughter to want to play golf with me every Saturday, so I can turn that into daddy-daughter time, so my wife doesn't yell at me for going to play golf.
Isn't that the great? You're right. You're ahead of the game right there. I turn my son into a movie watcher. I can go to movies with them. I go to those like adventure movies I wouldn't want to go, like the wife wouldn't want to go to. I'll go with him.
Yes. See, train your kids to like what you like.
Absolutely. I took my son to see Bad Boys for Life, and that was perfect.
Boom, Paul, great father of the year right now. Also, the movie of the year, if not the movie of the decade so far.
That is actually pretty funny that in this weird twisted way that COVID happened, Bad Boys might actually be the greatest movie of the year, like actually financially successful and everything else at this point. Is this a Macuga thing? How did that work?
Well, see, here's the thing. A lot of people don't know this, is that I pull a lot of strings behind the scenes in the world. And especially when it comes to Bad Boys franchise movies, is I just figured, why not start a global pandemic in order to keep Bad Boys for Life on the tip of everybody's tongue the whole year? Like, what was the last movie you saw before COVID? Oh, Bad Boys for Life. Duh. It was the greatest movie of the year. So, and we're into the, what would this be? The 2020s, right? So for the next decade, it was like, holy shit. Yeah. So-and-so was an okay movie, but do you remember Bad Boys for Life? Oh, I mean, come on, guys. It was so good. It was beyond good. And now it's on Stars. I've watched it like 40 times. It's amazing. It gets better every time.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Your plan executed brilliantly.
I would also like a disclaimer here, though. I did not start COVID-19. I want that to be clear.
Okay. You sure? Are you sure? We're sure on this, though. Okay.
Yes, positive. Yes. Yeah.
All right. Now that you've seen it 40 times, I'm kind of curious. Has your rankings of the Bad Boys films changed?
No, I think it still goes 2-3-1.
2-3-1. Okay, that makes sense. That's actually
but it's really like, obviously this is splitting hairs, and there is no wrong answer. But it's like 2 and then like 1 and 3. Like maybe 3 is like this much better, and maybe just because it's new. But if you go back and watch the original Bad Boys, it still 100% holds up. Which I mean, it's still a great effing movie. But it's, you know, I think 3 just had. I mean, you know what? I think 3 had Michael Bay directed it, and had they had about $40 million more dollars, we would have had, you know, like one more crazy action Michael Bay sequence that Bad Boys 2 really took to that next level. I mean, it still had awesome action sequences, don't get me wrong, but there's that modern day, and I'm like, again, I don't want to complain because I love the movie, but there's that modern day thing of like turning real people into superheroes. So when Will Smith falls out of that hotel and he's like punching that dude with the helmet, I'm like, guys, he's not Iron Man. Okay? Not Iron Man. But you need it, you know, nowadays you have to have that like crazy action sequence, karate chop, whatever. You can't just one punch like they were doing in the old one. So you know, it was awesome. I loved it. Yeah.
I love the one punch things. I think Harrison Ford always had best like sounding punches to pay. He always like wound up like a real puncher. You know what I mean? It was like or an action punch. It was like a real punch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
L.A. Finest. I've ever seen L.A. Finest, which was a Bad Boys type show with women, correct?
It's Jessica Alba and Gabrielle Union. Okay. Now I'm just going to throw this out there. L.A.'s Finest is the most impossible show to find anywhere on TV. Okay. Every time I set my DVR for it, it doesn't record. Every time I go and look for it on demand, it doesn't exist. I don't have the Spectrum network. And if you can't download the Spectrum app, you can't get it. My parents gave me their Spectrum sign-in and it wouldn't let me get to LA's Finest. I have no idea why I can't find the show. The world is keeping me away from it because I've been told it's absolutely terrible. But listen, it's in the Bad Boys franchise. I need to see this.
I get it.
Yeah,
I have not seen it myself for the same reason. I can't do it either.
Yeah, it's because you started COVID, so that's why you can't watch it.
Keep that going, Danny. Keep that going.
Thank you, AJ, for donation. Josh said Bad Boys for Life will be the top U.S. box office gross of 2020 on Collider Live last year, and somewhere on a finger on a monkey's paw curled up. That's true. We are going to. That's going to be the takeaway from this show is that Josh Macuga is the one behind COVID-19.
Thank you. You know, it's a blessing and a curse, guys. Wear your masks. I remember saying that on Collider Live, and then the fact that it came to fruition is just comedy gold. Yeah.
Of all movies.
I know.
Yeah. So now that we've all had to kind of stay home and stuff like that, weddings are something that a lot of people haven't gone to. Josh, one of my favorite things to know about you is that you are like the best wedding dancer ever. So tell us about do you have any like good wedding stories?
Do I have good weddings?
I know, but
yeah. So, you know, I mean, Ken Knapsack is the ultimate officiant, right? I've officiated a bunch of weddings. I'm actually officiating David Griffin's wedding here in about a month in Rancho Cucamonga. Actually saw him this weekend. And so I'm looking forward to that. Going to be a really nice time. But I always kind of say it, it's stupid, but you know, if I was a painter, my canvas would be a wedding dance floor, right? And so I love weddings. I love like celebrating love. I love an open bar and I love dancing, right? So like I said, I want my daughter to play golf so I can play golf with her on a Sunday. But if my daughter wants to take dance classes, I'll take a dance class with her. I mean, like it could only help my wedding dancing performance.
There you go.
See, I come from a long line of wedding, just lovers of weddings, wedding aficionados. You know, my dad is as a legend on a wedding dance floor. My uncles are crazy. My cousins are insane. My aunts are just wild. Like our family weddings are pandemonium. When we were getting, you know, when we were planning our wedding, Amanda just at one point was like, shut up about these Macuga weddings. I know what a Macuga wedding is. And then all these Carmel and like all of Amanda's side were like, we thought it was going to be wild. And then we came to this wedding and I was like, I know, I told you it's insane. I mean, we ran out of whiskey and vodka.
Oh my goodness.
We ran out of whiskey, vodka. I mean, it was just insane. You know, at least one person puked on all the buses going home. But that fuel, you know, it's like rocket fuel. You can't shoot Top Gun without the rocket fuel. You can't light up the wedding dance floor without a little liquid courage, right? So it's the amount of booze consumed. It's like it's a parabolic graph, and right here where it crosses is where the wedding dance floor hits. And you know, I mean, listen, I've I've split my pants at more than one wedding. When I designed my suit for my wedding, I had 2 suits made because I knew I was either going to split the pants or sweat through it, and both happened. So I was able to, put on the new set of pants and the new jacket. The one wedding I was at, I bought a new tuxedo like a week before the wedding, had it tailored, everything, went to the wedding, did a jump split off the stage and split the pants, and I was wearing bright orange underwear. And it was like a navy blue tuxedo. And Amanda was like, "Are you wearing orange underwear?" I was like, "Yep, that's orange. There's an orange underwear." Let's see. My cousin's wedding way back in the day, I think I was 18, and we had somehow convinced the bartender at this wedding that we were all 21. I don't think she really even cared at this point. Shut up and drink, you idiot kids. It was my cousin got married to a Vietnamese woman, and they do this traditional dance, and they put these outfits on, and I took one of the outfits after, and I was like dancing in. Everybody thought it was great, and it turns out they had to return these outfits, and they were really expensive, and I lost it. I lost the outfit. I don't know where it was. I ended up paying like $450 for this traditional Vietnamese outfit. It was not ideal. Yeah, my brother's wedding in New Orleans was just pandemonium for 3 straight days. That was the one when I tried to do the Matrix backflip off the wall, and I have like kind of a permanent wrist damage from landing like on my like hand on the back. It's just, again, liquid courage onto a dance floor. I did the dirt. Well, Amanda and I did the dirty dancing lift at our wedding, but I did a dirty dancing lift with a bride, and she wouldn't commit to it. So I like put her up, and then as I was bringing her down, she like swung and kicked me so hard in the balls. Like, I mean, hard in the balls that like 2 days later, I was legit. I thought I was going to have to go to the hospital. Like, it was legit a scene. And I had to get on a plane the next day. I mean, guys, I've done it. If there's a wedding story, I've lived it. Yeah.
As long as you don't bring glasses on the dance floor.
Yeah. One of them. Yeah. Well, that's a rule. Listen, you drink off the dance floor, drink as fast as you can, go on the dance floor, sweat it out, go back to the bar, rip a shot, go back to the floor. Like, that's what it's for. Get your steps in back and forth.
That's true. You got to work out. I get that. I appreciate that.
Sweat it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweat it out.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned your orange underwear and your suits. Now, you are known for your fancy dress wear, suits wear. Do you have a favorite that you wear at this point?
Well, I do like the suit that I wore for my wedding. I love the, the bright pink one. That's probably a classic. I have been enjoying that R2D suit a decent amount. I love my pool blazers. I have a pool tuxedo. I've got a terry cloth pool blazer. I've got tuxedos. I've got tuxedo jackets. I got purples. I got pinks. I got oranges. I have a lot of Christmas tuxedo stuff. A lot of Christmas suits. I'm telling you, it runs the gamut. Sometimes I think Amanda goes in there and throws the blazers like a blazer away and doesn't tell me, and I don't notice for like 6 months. I'm like, hey, you seen that like paint splattered blazer? It's like blue and yellow. She's like, oh, what? Oh, you still wanted that? Oh, that's crazy.
About that blazer.
Yeah.
It'll get the point where it's time, and that'll just like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I gotta say, who has the better, you or Mark Ellis? Who's got the better suit wear, you think?
Well, I influenced Mark Ellis. I mean,
that's true.
It's a derivation of me. So I was the one that sent him the link for the Tetris suit. I gave him the orange suit. That's my suit. I gave it to him because the one time I gave it to him, he wanted to give it back, and it smelled terrible. And I was like, "It's yours now. This is clearly yours. It smells like your high school gym locker room. It's yours now." Yeah. So. And he can thank me for that. I was the one that convinced Ken to get the Darth Vader suit for Star Wars Celebration. Listen, I don't want to say I'm a fashion icon.
But
you can say that. I'm not going to say that. But if you want to say that, I won't disagree, Paul.
I will say that right here and right now. You are a fashion icon.
There you go.
And
Danny's just nodding like, do you think?
No. I agree completely 100% because those suits are iconic. It just absolutely epic. So
thank you.
You cannot. That's all you. But
would you let your significant other dress like that, Danny? That's what I have to ask.
Yeah, absolutely. Those suits are fire. I love stuff like that.
Thank you, Danny.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I only asked. I'm hiding the Ed Harris shirt I wear. I'm hiding that from Kim so she doesn't throw that one out. So
Yeah. Perfect.
That's a very good shirt. If you ever get a chance to see that shirt, Josh, it's just Ed Harris all over it.
I mean, listen, if you're going to put an actor on your shirt, I think it goes like Ed Harris, everybody else.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. I'm gonna clip that out, Jake, for our channel. I'd like that as a quote. So, Mark Ellis, though, now you've done some stand-up for them. How is that like? 'Cause Mark's been doing it very successfully as a stand-up comedian. You get to open with them a lot and tour with them, or well, usually tour with them, so to speak. How's that? And do you enjoy that?
So, Mark Ellis always puts on like such a good show for you guys. Like he's always so nice.
Okay.
Guys, going on the road with Mark Ellis, like holy shit, it is diva town. Like I have to iron his pants. He yells at me backstage. I have to arrange the green room just so that he does, he doesn't freak out. I have to have just the right kind. That like he puts a thermometer into the Coors Light and he pulls it out. He's like, "This is bullshit," and he throws it at me. It's getting like really uncomfortable. He tried to hit me with the Ford Fusion a couple weeks ago, just out of anger. And,
does he even let you have a Coors Light, or is that even off limits?
Say it again.
Does he even let you have one of the Coors Lights, or is that even like off limits?
Paul, I'm lucky that I'm allowed to, breathe the same air as Mark Ellis, let alone have one of his precious Coors Lights where the only way you know if you can drink it is if the mountains turn blue on a can. Come on. Literally like drinking a hypercolor shirt. Okay?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But touring with Mark and Ken has been amazing. Like we have the best time. Those shows are so much fun. That was one of like the really tough parts about COVID is we had a bunch of shows scheduled and a ton of different things lined up for this 2020, and they kind of all were canceled. Although the last couple live streams have been a lot of fun. Riley's Cantina and everything, but the tour has been amazing. Okay. So yeah, I love it. I mean, I miss stand up. I wish I did it as much as Ellis back in the day. I never had the patience, I guess, for open mics. I never had the patience to be around the Comedy Store, the Improv, the Laugh Factory all the time, to do stand up every single night. I knew that I could do it. I always felt like I was never the best stand-up, and not that like being the best matters to me, but I just, I really loved the hangout aspect of stand-up comedy, and I loved doing shows for a lot of people. I never liked the driving to do a show for 10 people that really weren't enjoying themselves. And that's, I think a lot of comics really enjoy that. A lot of comics just love the stage time. For me, it was more like, I want to make people laugh. And I found I could do that on podcasts. I feel like I could do that on live shows, on YouTube stuff, writing, working, other kind of stuff. I wish I had the same drive and that a lot of stand-up comics do. It's just like my buddy Andrew Santino will say, and Mark will say, is you're just wired a little bit different. If you need to do stand-up all the time, it becomes, your adrenaline rush, your drug, your kind of thing. And
right.
And Mark is so good, and Mark has cut his teeth, and Mark is absolutely fantastic. I'm just, glad that he lets me jump on stage before he does. That's all.
Well, did you ever have one time where you said, "Wow, I killed it tonight"? Was there one time you really hit that home run in the show?
Yeah, there's been a couple of shows that I feel like I've walked off stage and been like, that was murder. It's a pretty amazing feeling. Like it's wild, I mean, the weirdest thing about stand-up though is you could do that same set that you crushed the night before, right, the next day and absolutely bomb, like eat shit like you wouldn't believe. Right. And I think that was the hardest part for me about comedy. It was when you killed, the high was so high, and when you bombed, you felt like just driving the car off the cliff, Toonces Cat style. So it was those highs and lows were too extreme for me. I'm such an even keel positive person that I think stand up is really hard for a very positive, happy go lucky person, because for the most part a lot of comics are miserable people.
It's the grind.
Yeah.
Well, it was announced. I'm sorry, Paul, were you gonna say
I did have a
something?
Streamlab. I was gonna throw a Streamlab in there.
Go for it.
Streamlab in there. It says it's from Elliot Dewberry. You said, quote, "Josh, help me. Shannon has me under constant surveillance."
Elliot. He knows that's a signal. Just don't worry about it. We've got it. Okay.
Got it.
Jake, you can work on that code breaking for us. By the end of the show, that'd be great. Anyway.
Yes. Elliot, let us know that if you're okay.
You'd be a great third base coach, Josh, I think. You'd be a great third base coach, right?
That's all I know. Just that.
Yeah.
That's the most baseball that I know.
Good work, Danny. You got that.
Thanks. Josh, okay. So earlier this year, I believe it was announced that Alex Trebek is not retiring from Jeopardy.
Yeah.
So, but is Josh for Jeopardy still going strong? Is that something that you still want to campaign going forward?
It's my dream. I think the hard part was, that Alex got cancer. He still has cancer. And like, I think it would have been in really bad taste to be like, man, I really want Alex Trebek's job. If people had known, like a lot of people that maybe don't know me would see it and be like, oh, he's trying to like kick Alex while he's down and he's got cancer. I think it would be a really bad look for me. Yeah. It still is my dream job. It absolutely is my dream job. Anybody still asks, I would love to be the next host of Jeopardy. But I can't like actively campaign while the man is sick. I can still be the biggest Jeopardy fan on the planet. And I got to tell you, these last like 3 weeks of Jeopardy, 4 weeks, they basically are only able to pull in talent that can drive to LA. So you hear like people from Altadena, California. Altadena is like 20 minutes from here, right? Like they're trying to make up these like far away sounding California towns, and they're all just literally like from Fairfax, California. That's just the street next to the studio. Like they're not pulling people from all over the country and the world. And you can see that the talent pool, and no offense, like the questions are a little bit easier, the scores are a lot lower, and the contestants aren't as strong as you would if you had the national pool. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, maybe this is my chance, because there are some episodes on Jeopardy where I'm like 80%, which is pretty good, right? Like that's pretty good. And then there's some episodes where I'm like 35%, and it is brutal. So, but these last month plus of shows, I've been on fire. Amanda's like, geez, these people stink. I'm like, no. These questions are a little bit easier, and a lot of the contestants just aren't as strong, I think, as the other ones. And not that like Jeopardy isn't trying, because they're still giving us new episodes, and that's amazing. I mean, when they opened the Jeopardy vault during COVID, how cool was that? Like the first episode of Jeopardy was wild. It's so much different than it is now. Yeah. So, obviously I have more excitement for Jeopardy than like 99.99% of the population. But yes, the answer to your question, Danny, a long-winded answer. Yes, I would absolutely still love to be the next host of Jeopardy. Josh Macuga for Jeopardy is still a hashtag. You can use it. I have plenty of stickers and buttons still at my house. So, I'll bring, when we can do live shows again, I'll bring them out.
Oh, I definitely take one. I think I do have another Schmodown question I want to bring back. I want to ask you. There's an incident, obviously. I want to know, how mad was Christian really when you lost the belt?
He was like kind of pissed about it.
He was really pissed about it, wasn't he?
Yeah, like I was kind of, everybody was a little, I thought people kind of overreacted to it, and then I don't know. I mean, that's just me. So me flossing with the belt, me like doing all that stuff, I thought it was gonna be funnier than it was. And then everybody like treats that belt like it's the Carpenter's Cup and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, for crying out loud. And so I never apologize for it and never will, but apparently that belt is a little more sensitive than clearly me.
Speaking along the same lines, I gotta ask, like, I've heard some people have stories and everything else. Was there anything that you try to pass through Christian for the Schmodown specifically that he rejected outright that you thought was genius, that you think you could have done and hit a home run with?
Wait, say that again?
Something that you proposed to do for your character or for a show or something through Christian for the Schmodown that like Christian maybe rejected or you couldn't do, something like a deleted, something you could have done that you wanted.
No, I don't think there ever was.
No,
I think that, well, first of all, he usually pitches stuff to me, and then I just kind of go with it. I mean, maybe there was an idea of nudity that he shut down, and which is rightly so. Like, there's there's ladies in the crowd. But like it was going to be more like a Borat kind of a situation, like that amount. Like it was going to be covered, but barely. And it was going to be more to just throw off JTE. This was way back in the beginning of it, like trying to take it up that next notch.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't think there was ever anything that I pitched him or he pitched me that hasn't made its way to screen somehow, you know?
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, I wasn't allowed to light off fireworks inside, and I was actually looking into renting a blowtorch, but nobody would like a flamethrower kind of a thing. For like one of the big shows, it was going to be a flamethrower, but it was going to like shoot tons of confetti, like so much confetti. And Christian's like, we don't have enough people to clean up all that confetti. I was like, yeah. Like it was going to cover Chicago in confetti. Like the whole audience was going to be covered in confetti, but you know, he wouldn't go for it. It was also really expensive.
PJ Campbell and crew at that point probably thanking him for that.
Shut it down.
Do you have a favorite live event memory? You've done a few of them now, or you kind of warmed up the crowd and everything. Any live event memories that stick out to you?
Man, the beginning of that Chicago show was pretty amazing. The Star Wars celebration, it was so big. But I think that first show when we played, who was the guy that made fun of my wife's vagina? What was that guy?
Real Rejects?
Real Rejects. Thank you. So when one of the moments you guys didn't see during that show, I mean, it was amazing. Like it was wild. It was the first live show the Schmodown had ever done. So it was, you know, everything was new and the crowd was on fire. Was we were doing the, you know, like the bits, and we were like running around. It was dark on stage, and I was like running with the microphone and I was yelling, and there was almost one point when I stepped clear off the stage, and just out of the corner of my eye, my right foot like just missed doing it. And I looked back at Elliot and he looked at me like, holy shit, you almost fell. Like I would have really hurt myself. That's like a 4.5 foot drop. It's far.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right, got a few super chats that just came in there. Let's get ready to talk Schmodown podcast. I'm guessing that's going to be Shug. Congrats, WildMan, on the baby girl, and let's go Steelers.
Oh yeah, 5-0.
And Ben Rayner, also thank you, Ben, for the donation. I missed the fantasy updates with you and Cody, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Is there any chance of a brief return?
Oh.
There is not. But I do miss those. Those were always really fun. I would, I would go to Cody and I would be like, Cody, we got to film like 8 of these in a row. Like, all right, what do you got? And I was like, all right, so on this one, you're going to come out as me. And like, we would pitch the stupidest stuff. And then Christian, a.k.a. Cobster, would come in. He became part of it. You know, it was just, we didn't actually give you any fantasy updates. There was nothing fantasy about it. It was just us doing stupid stuff and me yelling into a microphone. That's all it became. And we had a good time doing it.
It was gold. I got to say, I loved them anyway.
Thank you.
Absolutely. They were a highlight for sure.
Glad you guys enjoyed them.
Yes, the Sherboy
Boys album is my favorite from Denny.
Yeah, Sherbert Boys was that. We had a really, there was 12 songs in that first album. Danny, you remember the one with Shakira? That was a really good song.
Yes. Yeah, we were just singing it before we went live because I had to hear that one. Like, there's that one line that you sing in that song that's just so iconic and so classic. I just had to hear you sing it. So thank you for blessing us with that earlier. Not sure if we're able to give that to the crowd or anything.
We're kind of like that band. We had the Shakira song. We had 2 scoops featuring Jay-Z and Flo Rida. Mm-hmm. We had the one with Neil Diamond.
Classic.
Every flavor has its cream. It was a little adult friendly. I mean, it was something. 12 songs, 1 album, and then the Sherbert Boys broke up, and people still talk about it. It was we had a good run, but just like most bands, I think creative differences really got the best of us.
Yeah, it's a shame that Christmas album never got made, man.
We're 3 songs into it. I'm waiting for the call. Just waiting for the call. We have
know.
Jingle Bells. We have Frosty the Snowman. And, of course, we have the all a cappella instrumental version of Carol of the Bells.
Oh,
wow. That's gold right there.
Yes, please.
You never know. Well, keep faith alive. You never know. All bands eventually have a reuniting, even if it's like a charity event, a live aid, maybe a COVID-19 aid or something.
Yeah.
Boys get back together. That'd be
Listen, you got to call the Sherbert Boys agent. We're rep by Jimmy Iovine over at Interscope. So
there you go. And maybe, just maybe, Josh might have started COVID. Maybe the Sherbert Boys can end COVID. We can only hope.
Anything's possible, Paul.
Look at that full circle right there, Paul.
Well, without further ado, I think it's time to break into the second part of our show. This is our famous This or That. If you're new to the show, welcome. I will be giving Josh 2 options, and he can choose between them. He can ask for clarification. He can make up his own clarification. He can answer however the fuck he wants because it's his show at this point.
Danny, you're really good with those hand movements.
Thank you. I've had time to practice.
Yes, very good.
I've actually had time to learn to not distract myself from it because she's got really distracted with it. But I'm kind of like just tune her out.
Yeah. I'm the Vanna to his Pat. I'm the Vanna to his Pat during this segment.
I will say, Pat Sajak, one of the weirdest looking human beings on the planet.
Really
How that man has made a career in television, I will never know. His hair looks like a radish, and his face.
His hair is this weird square shape that I can't figure out.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's crazy, but hell. He made a lifetime of terrible jokes and human beings not knowing words, spinning a wheel. What are you gonna do?
There you go. All right. Well, the first question we always ask is because we are an Action Army podcast, obviously formed out of Team Action, as you know. We want to know when they broke up. You have your Wildberry Civil War. We had the Action Army Civil War.
Sure.
Would you fall on the side of Team Guy or Team Traitor?
Only one.
I'm always Team Guy. I mean,
that makes sense. And you had the right answer, Kelsey. You can just go home. Yeah. Kelsey is Team Traitor, but that's all right. We're glad that you're on the side of right at this point.
Listen, Andrew Guy and I, we're cut from very similar cloth. So.
Fair enough.
Big dumb idiots.
That's very true. That's very true.
Yeah.
We got another food one. We got poutine or loaded French fries.
Poutine or loaded French fries. See, okay, I feel like poutine is like really overrated because that gravy is so rich. So give me the loaded fries
every time. Man, we're on the page. I like this. Okay.
I just like gravy.
No, I think gravy has its place, but maybe less of it on the fries. But gravy is very good. I mean,
we can all be wrong. It's fine.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Danny, how dare you? Okay. We got, how about a Pittsburgh Pirate or a Pittsburgh Penguin?
Oh, Pittsburgh Penguins.
Penguins are yours. Okay.
Yes.
And how about Steelers or Penguins?
Steelers. It goes Steelers, Penguins, everything else.
Everything else. Okay.
Yeah.
Playing in singles or playing with part of a team?
Oh, man. Come on. There's nothing better than playing with the Wildberries. It's a team.
Okay.
I love team stuff. I love team competition. It's the best.
A Wildberry or a rutabaga?
Oh, shit. Well, as somebody that's never actually eaten a rutabaga, just pitched a business based on a woman's name, I'm gonna have to team with probably the sweeter of the Wildberry. I've had Wildberry flavored things, and they're delicious. So why not? We're gonna go Wildberry.
All right, that makes sense. All right. How about? I'm gonna actually admit I stole this from one from your Twitter feed.
Okay.
The Fratellis or the Hocus Pocus witches?
Oh, you got to take the Fratellis. Come on.
Every time I'm right.
The Goonies is so good. Goonies is so good. It's so good.
I have never gotten sick of that movie.
Never.
All right. Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
We don't live in communist Russia. We should not be forced to eat this ridiculousness on pizza. People that say they like it say it because they're like trying to get a rise out of people. They know they're lying. When push comes to shove, like zombie apocalypse happens, they're like, hey, the last food on earth is pineapple pizza. I'm running into the horde of zombies.
Jake, I got 2 words for you.
Yeah, poor Jake. Yeah. Sorry, Jake.
There you go.
There you go. Sorry, Jake.
All right. Do you prefer a double entendre or a pun?
Oh, pun all day long. Come on.
All right.
All day.
This is going to be I think this might be a difficult one. But we'll see. Mike Lowry or Marcus Bennett? Bad boy dad.
Okay. Here's the crazy part is I think in each movie it flips.
Oh, okay.
So in one, I'm Marcus. Okay. In two, I'm Mike.
Okay.
In three, I'm Marcus. So maybe in four, we go back to Mike.
All right. So I guess by default right now, you'd have to choose Marcus. And if it's two out of Marcus.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, he's a little overweight. He's kind of living the dream. He wants to retire. That's more me right now than it is Mike Lowry still chasing the cop dream. Right.
Fair enough. Let's see. Alex Trebek or Fred Rogers?
Oh, damn.
So wholesome.
I mean, Fred Rogers is from Pittsburgh. He's, a light of this world. Not that Alex Trebek isn't. Both men are absolutely, legends in their field, great human beings. But Mr. Rogers is, cut from a different cloth. You got to pick Mr. Rogers. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. This is one I actually don't understand. This is someone else gave this one to me. He said it's an inside joke. Truffle Plumpers or Jessica Flash and Green Bulb?
Oh yeah, that's the show Ken and I watch. It was produced by the Afternoons podcast. It's on the CW's third app, peoplewatchthis.com. Jessica Bulb and the Green Flash. I'm a big Green Flash guy. But Jessica Bulb's had a great season 2 and okay season 3. We'll see what happens season 4.
Okay, fair enough. TV talk or eating history?
Well, I loved Eating History. It was an amazing time. I don't think we're getting a season 2. Nothing has been set in stone yet, but as of right now, we're not getting a season 2. Oh. I think the TV talk was cut way too short. Unfortunately, I mean, David Griffin got an amazing job and he had to step away, but I don't think there was anything quite like that original chemistry of myself, David Griffin, and Sinead DeFries. So
fair enough.
And nothing against that or Roxy or Emma. It was great, but like that when you first get something and like everything's new, it was so much fun and so different. And we were doing other things that like other shows weren't, at least on Collider. And I think we had so much room to grow. And I don't think that Collider gave us enough of a chance simply because, the powers that be didn't love that we weren't getting amazing numbers. That's all. I'm not going to blame a guy from Canada, but I can blame a guy from Canada.
I'm all here for that as well. That will actually do our little segment of this or that. It's you breezed through them really quickly. You're good to go. You've made it your way. I'm very proud of you. Good work, my friend. Good work.
Thank you.
So, Danny, is it time for questions from the chat?
It is. So we're going to go ahead and bring our sweet, lovely Kelsey on. Hello, Kelsey. So before we get started with questions from the chat, we did want to start something new here with Josh, especially Josh. You've been a part of the Schmodown for a long time. And so I thought this would be a great person to start this new little segment that we're doing with. So big shout out to everyone that helped us get this prepared. I'll let you.
We're going to open up with a few video questions. We did solicit a few questions from some videos. This will give the chat time to actually add some Streamlabs or super chats in there as well. Those will get priority after the videos. Some of these are from members of the community, some big fans of the community, some people involved in Schmodown, a few of them. We're going to open up with somebody who we know pretty well. He's one of the greatest fan members of the community. He's involved with almost everybody's shows and here and there. He's always at the matches. He's always there. He's been a big supporter of C2A for a long time. And he's got 2 little supporters who are just as big of fans. Of course, I'm talking only about John Mariano. And his is the first question we're going to give because we got to give him that honor. So without further ado, John Mariano.
Hi, everybody over at Call to Action. I'm honored to have been asked to be the first fan to ask one of the Schmodown competitors and the legendary Josh Macuga of the Wild Berries a question. Guys, give me my phone back.
Hi Josh, it's Zoe Mariano, and I was just wondering, who do you think is going to win between you and Elliot Dewberry? Hi Josh, it's Kara, and what do you think of my Lord of the Rings impression? My precious.
So Josh, my question for you is, are you prepared for parenthood and realizing that you are at best the second or third most important person in the room at any given time? much love. You and Amanda are going to be incredible parents. We have nothing but love for you, and all the best from the Marianos. Bye.
They're the best. That's so adorable. That was one hell of a Smeagol. Holy moly. Oh my goodness. That girl should do a contest. My word. That was incredible. Those girls are just the cutest. Let's see. I like I said before, parenthood is going to come in here quick. I'm looking forward to it, but listen, it's going to be a wild ride. I know that no longer is what my priorities are matter. That's nothing. It's it's little girls and nothing else. So there's that. And then who do I think is between me and Elliot? Well, I think I'm going to win, but there's really no winners here. There's no winners.
The audience gets to win.
The winner. Yeah. We're the winners.
Yeah.
All right. We do have another question from someone else inside of the Schmodown world, from our good friends Jillian and Sean. So thank you so much for getting that in there. And here we go.
Hey Josh, this is Jillian.
And Sean.
Just wanted to ask, what was your favorite Schmodown match or favorite Schmodown moment you were a part of? I can definitely tell you what ours was.
Speaking of which, do you think Andrew Guy wants his slice back?
Thanks, Josh.
That was pretty funny. Christian was actually really bummed about that one too. I had a thing, and they were supposed to come up there and they were going to yell, and you threw his pie into the crowd. I was like, sorry, dude. You got me drunk for 3 hours. What do you think's going to happen? That was super fun. And that was how we all became friends with them, with Jillian and Sean, and they're amazing people. So I made, my favorite Schmodown memory, I think when I beat JTE and I humped him in the old Collider studios. I love that match so much. Beating him was so much fun, because then he went on to become so good in the league. And I was, that was just that one brief moment in time. I mean, it was really great beating Christian in the first ever Schmodown. That was a ton of fun, but just being a part of the league is always a good time. I love the live shows. Love getting to meet everybody at the live shows, and it's a really fun community and a lot of wildness, no pun intended. So.
All right, and we have another question from Nikki Demolanta.
Hey guys, it's Nikki, aka Demi. I have, I think, 2 questions for Josh, considering that he's about to be a new daddy in the not too distant future. And I think that these questions might be fun for him and Amanda to look back on maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, or whatever. So I'm curious, what do you think is going to be the most challenging part of being a new parent? And also, what is a baby milestone that you think is going to be the most exciting as my child starts to run toward me? Oh, hey Josh, welcome to the club.
So cute. I am looking. What am I scared of? What did you say? What am I what I think the most challenging thing is?
What's challenging?
I think that over the years, and Demi is the best. I love Demi. They're the best. She and Andrew. So I think the challenging thing for me is patience. I have really bad road rage. My patience can run thin quickly. I mean, I was born with Italian blood, so we're not exactly known as being the most patient people. If you've ever been to Italy, they don't wait in lines; they just kind of push you out of the way. So I think patience is going to be my biggest challenge, and I think the big milestone I'm probably looking forward to most is that when they first kind of become people and your best friends, and you realize that I'm raising a little fun human here. We get to go hang out. I was really lucky to be raised by parents that were my friends, that were, obviously they were disciplinarians and, they were my parents, but now later in life, they're my friends. And it's, I was very lucky to have very loving, amazing parents. So I want my daughter to, think like that her dad was, a really fun dad and a good person, and also, a good example, but also very good at dad jokes. That's very important. So.
Yes.
Real quick interject there. Love you, Josh, from Jillian in the chat. And John Mariano actually is in the chat as well, so that was incredible. There you go. Next one there.
All right. We have another video. Speaking of Andrew, we have a question from him as well.
Hey Josh, it's Andrew here. As I watch football from one football fan to another, I had a question. Is Amanda as confused with the rules of football as Nikki is? She constantly is like asking me, like, what constitutes What?
It's confusing. If you throw it on the ground intentionally, it should be intentional grounding, but there's all these other rules.
You see what I'm dealing with?
It's confusing.
Anyways, I would like to know. Thanks.
Dimmy and Amanda, when it comes to football, are cut from very, very similar cloth. Yeah. I like asking Amanda just random football questions to see if she is actually paid attention to a game, just one game or a quarter. No. The other day, I asked her how many yards it was for her first down. She said 25. So it's like she's not. She doesn't.
I think that's actually more than Kelsey does.
Yep. Yeah.
Kelsey, what is it? Sports ball?
Sports ball.
My favorite story about me talking about football is one time I said the only thing that I know about football is that you get 7 points when you score a touchdown.
You don't.
You don't. That was exactly. That's how much I know about football.
It's good. It's good. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, let's get to the Streamlabs question.
Okay, perfect. We have a Streamlab that came in from PC. It's more of a comment than a question. WILDMAN, big fan. I binged your show when I found out about the Josh Macuga show. You asked one of your shows how you were doing, and of course I commented 10 out of 10. So that from PC. And then we have a question from Jeremiah Morris. What will happen first? The Pirates win a World Series or you win the singles belt?
If I'm ever allowed or asked to join the singles league again, I mean, I guess me winning the singles belt, because the Pirates don't even care about baseball. The ownership's like, we have a team. Congratulations, buy our hot dogs. But at least, like, I would say if, like, maybe I got, a trainer or somebody that would, like, coach me once or twice a week and, like, bring in the cue cards, or not cue cards, flashcards, like the old Clark Wolf League that she was running back in the day, and help people study now, I could probably hang in there and maybe compete for a singles title. But, a lot of these competitors now have such an unbelievable wealth of knowledge. And for me, is like, I'm not going to watch movies I don't like. And so, and I like a ton of movies, but I'm not going to watch horror movies. I'm not going to watch classic movies. I'm not watching musicals. It's just like, I don't care about that, and there's not enough time in a day to care about it. And there's just so many times that you need to watch Bad Boys 2 in your life. I mean, you have to watch it. It's exactly. Like, you have to eat your fruits and vegetables. You have to watch Bad Boys 2. It's like a thing.
Gotcha.
Every day.
All right, another question from Dean Morgan. With Dexter coming back, what show do you want to see have a comeback to redeem itself?
Well, I think that The Walking Dead has had like this weird, like, that had that meteoric rise and then that unbelievable meteoric fall. And I would love to see it like in the last season and a half or so really redeem itself. I think the last season, nobody's really been watching it. The last season and a half has been really, really good. But for the most part, it was such a big show, and now nobody watches it and nobody cares, that I would love to see it really go out on an amazing high note. And so, yeah, for me, I think it would be The Walking Dead. I've invested so much time in that show. I also don't understand the Dexter comeback. Nobody's really been asking for it. But listen, listen, if you're a Dexter fan, I watched the first season in the middle of COVID. I was like, I've never seen Dexter. I'm going to watch Dexter. I'm going to give it a chance. I couldn't even get through the first season. Like, that show was just not made for me. That's not my kind of show. I didn't really care about it. I know that they're coming out with a Sopranos like prequel with James Gandolfini's son, who was in that show, The Deuce, and he was really good in The Deuce. Playing a young Tony Soprano. I would love to like go back and pick the brain of the writers right after season 3 and see like why they went in the directions that they did. But I think Sopranos is amazing TV to me, but I know there's a lot of the casual fans that were like, season 4 and 5 were brutal, and I can't disagree on a whole. There's too much Janice. She's the worst.
Oh.
So,
Either.
what are you gonna do?
Perfect. And then the last question we will have from this evening is from Robert Adams. Question: I know you're not a horror fan, but which horror movie is more iconic, Scream or The Shining?
Okay, I've never been able to sit through either. But I think for me and my generation, I mean, shit, that's tough. They both have the one line that sticks with everybody for the rest of their life after they see the movie, right?
Mhm.
They both have like the iconic weapon.
Mhm.
They both have like the iconic face. Like you've got the Jack Nicholson with like in the door. You've got that Scream ghost. I mean, they built like 9 different movies and TV shows all off Scream. I guess I got to give it to Scream.
Oh.
Thank you.
We were on sync the entire show until I
We got in a fight about this.
Yeah.
They got into a big fight.
As far as the scarier one, the one that scared me more, by far, The Shining. Like I will never, ever even attempt. When that woman is in that bathtub, I turn that movie off.
Nope.
And I'm telling you, okay, guys, don't ever go to a remote location in the woods, ever. Okay? I don't care if it's a beautiful hotel. I don't care just don't go in the middle. Why do I not camp? Because there's stuff out there. Why do I not go to the woods? Because there's stuff out there. Okay? We all know it. Like, a jogger was lost. They think he may have been kidnapped. No shit. You never seen that? There's creepy people out there. Stop it.
You went outside, of course.
Just go play golf. Just go play golf.
Go play golf.
You don't hear people getting taken off of golf courses. Like that's not like a thing you hear about. It's always the woods.
No, you just get sucked into a cartoon Looney Tunes world on a golf course.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I actually played that course. I played that hole. They had the Space Jam hole. I've played that hole before. It's crazy.
You get the alternate dimension, or
it's up in Lake Arrowhead. It was. I actually played it with David Griffin, which is cool. Yeah.
Alrighty, everybody. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for us on this Chill to Action this Sunday night. Josh, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate you taking this time. Big shout out to everyone inside of the chat. We really appreciate you coming in and hanging out. Shout out to John Mariano, Jill and Sean, and Andrew and Nikki for sending in those questions. We really appreciate that. We hope to keep that coming in for the rest of the episodes. And that's pretty much it. So you all know me. It's your girl Danny Joy here. You can find me on Twitter at Danny Joy, DANIEEJOY. You can also find me here every Sunday hosting Chill to Action with my favorite co-host, Mr. Paul Denuzio, on the Call to Action Network. All of that good, great stuff. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. Whatever. That's it. Paul.
Paul Denuzio on Twitter. You can find me on Chill to Action with Danny Joy every week. You can also find me producing for Ben Bateman and Andrew Guy on Action Industries every weekend. You can find me also producing coming up next with Jen Sturger and Brad Gilmore on the SEN network. Please come. It's going to be a fun show. We're having a good time. So that's it for me.
Yep. All right. And you can find me at KelseyKens90 on Twitter and Instagram. You also can find me on Call to Action Live every Saturday night, where we break down all things Schmodown, all the things that happened this week, and things up and coming. Check us out there. TeePublic, we've got merch. We've got masks. Wear a mask. And I am excited to see you guys on Saturday.
Josh, let us know anything that you got going on. If you got anything coming up, let us know where the people can find Mr. Macugas.
Let's see. Twitter and Instagram, Josh Macuga. You guys can see. You can listen to the afternoons. That comes out every Friday. We do live afternoons on Thursday. I also have a show now on Twitch. I'm part of a league now called the Fan Controlled Football League. It's basically like video game meets real life football. So fans, if you're on Twitch, you get to call the plays in the game. It's real life 7-on-7 football. Basically like if you're taking Arena League football and you are calling the plays for actual players. It's really, really cool. It's going to start in February. Every Thursday live, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Myself, Jeff Kanata, who some of you all might know, are hosting a show for the Fan Controlled Football League. And it's a lot of fun. And then right now, our buddy Jake Iacovetta is helping me color, graphically design a children's book I wrote. So,
it's so exciting!
Can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome. So.
Yes. Really cool. Yep. Very excited for that. So again, thank you everyone for coming in and hanging out with us. This is going to be it for us on this Sunday. Thank you so much. I always say thank you too many times whenever we're doing this, but that's it. We're wrapping it up. We're saying goodbye.
You too.
Good night, everyone. Take care. And as always, we salute you.
Salute you.
Bye.
Bye.